In 1999, the Spinosaurus was cloned, and a lot of people believe that Ingen was the one responsible for this. But that's not entirely true. It was actually cloned by Biosen scientists. And yes, this is indeed canon and hidden lore. Now you might be wondering, how was Biosen scientists on the island? What were they even doing on Isla Sorna? And for a period of 9 months, they physically experimented on the Spinosaurus. And don't worry, I'm going to explain all that in today's video. Obviously, we know the Spinosaurus then escapes at some point and goes rampaging on the island. But what happened prior to that escape? For us to complete this investigation, we have to cast our minds back to 1998, where Ingen was bought out by Masrani Global Corporation, and within 100 days of this buyout, activity resumed on Isla Sorna. Now, it is unknown whether Simon Masrani himself was aware of this crime, but there is reason to believe Henry Wu was involved directly, and Biosen scientists. The Site B facilities such as the embryo lab, etc. were reused to continue de-extinction research and development for the second incarnation of Jurassic Park, aka Jurassic World. This is where they cloned the Ceratosaurus, Spinosaurus, and 2 other genuses. But you might be asking yourself, how does Biosen fit into all this, and where does the Spinosaurus grow up and escape? Well, let me continue. Ingen's rival, Biosen Genetics, infiltrated this research in 1999 through their project Regenesis. And this is where it gets really interesting, and how Biosen is actually on Isla Sorna, not Ingen. Now, Ingen were indeed present there along with Biosen. Biosen posed as Ingen scientists and created the Spinosaurus kind of along with Ingen. But Ingen left in 1999, whereas the Biosen scientists remained on Isla Sorna till 2000. So for a full 12 months, continued their experiments from 1999 till 2000 on the Spinosaurus. And we all know of the Americans becoming marooned on the island in 2001, which forced Masrani Global higher-ups bribing government officials into censoring parts of the incident and burying the survivors' testaments. Now you might be asking yourself, how was this even possible? What happened to the Spinosaurus? How did it escape? What happened to the Biosen scientists there? Well, let me explain it all to you. And believe you me, you are not going to want to miss any of this. The experimentation on the Spinosaurus would have likely been brutal and would have been used by all the old equipment there. The embryonics labs, some new equipment, some splicing technology, all were used by Biosen in 1999 to 2000. Now, there was indeed an abandoned / crashed helicopter on Isla Sorna with Biosen's logo on the side of it in the year 2000 or so, but this was in Jurassic Park Trespasser and isn't really considered canon to the movie universe, so we're not really going to speak about that. The contents of this helicopter or how it would have been related to the Spinosaurus is unknown. Now, from 1999 to 2000, the Biosen scientists continued their experiments, and the Spinosaurus would have continued to grow. With an accelerated growth genome, we could anticipate that in the course of 12 months would have been absolutely massive. So where would they have housed this Spinosaurus? Now, during the events of Jurassic Park 3, we do see all the cages where they would have kept the smaller animals, but nothing to indicate where they would have kept the larger ones, such as the Ceratosaurus and the Spinosaurus. And what experiments would they actually have been doing on that Spinosaurus? Many people believe that the Spinosaurus was indeed the first incarnation of a hybrid attempt, with the Spinosaurus being spliced with many different types of genomes. But one could argue that isn't that the case with all Jurassic Park dinosaurs? Personally, I do believe they were using the Spinosaurus for some type of hybrid research, which led into the Scorpius Rex, later into the Indominus. Obviously, with this being a massively covert operation, there's very little information out there in regards to Project Regenesis and how it concluded in the year 2000 with the Spinosaurus. Our investigation tells us that Biosen left Isla Sorna in 2000 as Ingen gained more access to the island. Does this mean then that Biosen did not have a facility to take these dinosaurs to, or did they just want to leave them rampaging on the island, or did something else happen there? As we know from the original events in Jurassic Park, life will not be contained, and that's what I believe happened with the Spinosaurus. In 2000, the Spinosaurus would have been grown for at least 12 months and would have been a fairly large specimen. Not only that, we know that it's hyper-aggressive towards humans, likely caused by the years of experimentation from Biosen. The likelihood is it actually escaped escaped containment, destroying some of the facility in the process, and we do see some ruins during Jurassic Park 3. Biosen probably would have underestimated the growth speed and the hostility of the Spinosaurus, resulting in its escape, and then Biosen losing scientists and later retreating and abandoning the island. Hence why they were not able to take these specimens with them. It was far too dangerous. However, there are indeed leaked emails from within Biosen genetics that further confirm that some of the animals did in fact survive the collapse. In 2017, a disguised vessel operated by Biosen was apprehended by the US Coast Guard. It was strongly believed that the Biosen vessel was part of a larger scale operation to remove animals from Isla Sorna, bringing them to the Biosen Valley. But Biosen wasn't the only corporation to do this. A long-time rival Manticorp illegally appropriated assets from 2001 until 2015, after it was abandoned by Biosen. And Masrani Global itself didn't relinquish ownership of the island until 2018. And who did they actually relinquish control to? Well, we'll get into that in a second. But what did actually happen to them original scientists on Isla Sorna? Well, we know Dr. Henry Wu was involved and he was still surviving as of 2022. So the likelihood is some of them made it out in 1999, but obviously we know some of them went back until the year 2000. And it is highly likely when the Spinosaurus made its escape, it actually took some of them Biosen scientists out, if not all of them. We know that there was a completely abandoned outpost there and worker village. If that Spinosaurus did escape while being in activity, the on-site scientists were very unlikely to survive. And as this was a highly secret operation, there are no reports filed. Now, Biosen's experimentation and meddling doesn't stop there. Always involvement in Isla Sorna, but more on that in just one second. Let's continue our story with the Spinosaurus. The Spinosaurus would then later be left to its own devices for an unknown period, because we do know it is poached by Manticorp at some point between 2001 and 2015, as is seen in Camp Cretaceous, where again is further subject to more extreme experimentations, at this time not at the hands of Biosen or Ingen, but the hands of Manticorp. Now, Manticorp's island eventually collapses, and it is not known what happened to that Spinosaurus. Whether it was later picked up by Biosen is unknown, or whether it was subject to further experimentation. But what actually became of all the facilities, all the dinosaurs on Isla Sorna? Currently, Isla Sorna is monitored by mostly the Costa Rican government, along with a number of third-party companies, formerly including Biosen. But Biosen having control over Isla Sorna until 2022, you can bet that there are still some shady goings on there even to this day. Now, there is no real evidence to back this up, but I believe Isla Sorna is still in operation, especially up until 2022, was controlled by Biosen. There's got to be some facility, some type of experiments going on there. The lore in Jurassic World is absolutely massive and so intertwined. For me, the next logical step in the Jurassic World, Jurassic Park universe and lore is to go back to Isla Sorna, because something in my mind has survived. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, because there's plenty more like this coming up, and go check out all my other videos. I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members. Thanks guys, I really couldn't produce these videos without your help, so thank you very much. I'm Shadows, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers now, bye bye.